Correct me if I'm wrong, but is Rodrygo a bit shameless in this instance? Because Real Madrid have had probably one of the worst seasons they've had in, quite some time, since probably the year after Cristiano Ronaldo left Real Madrid and they got eliminated by Ajax. That was a pretty bad Madrid team. And this team, just won the UCL and said, you know what, we're going to add arguably the best player at the time, Kylian Mbappe, to the squad, and we're going to absolutely terrorize Barcelona and the whole world. And instead, they get eliminated by Arsenal in the Champions League quarterfinals. They're most likely not going to win the league, and then they lose in the Copa del Rey final to Barcelona. So they're going to come out, with that treble trophyless season, man. And it's going to be kind of crazy if Barcelona has a 25% chance in the UCL to be able to, come in and win the treble and basically leave Real Madrid in the dust. Now, Rodrygos came out, right, after all that, saying he believes he doesn't get enough appreciation at Real Madrid. Mate, when you do well, you get appreciation at Real Madrid. You're only as good as your last game, as your current season when it comes to Real Madrid. You had Cristiano Ronaldo winning, back-to-back UCLs, and then he had a little dry spell in the third year that they won the third UCL. And there was a point where Cristiano Ronaldo had a slow start to the season and he was getting hate. He had won that club 3 UCLs, and he was on his way to the fourth one, but nobody knew that yet. But he had a slow goal scoring start in the UCL and he was getting booed. That's the Real Madrid fan base for you. They're very picky. They have high standards. And, when you had your comeback goals against City, everybody loved you. And then now, for some reason, my man was gone goalless since Espanyol, man, since February. This man has not scored in La Liga. And then since the Atletico Madrid first leg, he hadn't scored. So Rodrygo this season has been very awful, if you ask me. And Transfer Market here has him at a value of 100 million to me. I think his value has not plummeted, but has lowered substantially considering, the lack of goals he scored. This man has gone goalless in a very, it's dreadful. I'm not going to lie, considering. But I will cut him some slack because Real Madrid, has adding Kylian Mbappe, sometimes more is less, and that's what has occurred here. When you have a cup full of water and then you try to put more water is going to come out of the cup. So that's exactly what happened with Mbappe, because that front three at Real Madrid, you have 3 left wingers. 3 left wingers in the front three. Somehow they want that to work, but it's inevitable that either one of the Brazilian wingers will get sold this season. Jude Bellingham, I think, is safe. Kylian Mbappe, he's safe as well. Vinny, whose performances have also dropped. The beef is up, the performances is down. Typically the love is up, the performances is down. No. For Vinny, the beef is up, the performances is down. He said, I got 2 UCLs. I should have won a Ballon d'Or. Now I'm going to beef with La Liga. But, Rodrygo here, to me, shameless though. Shameless, because the fact that you've came out and said, he believes all the focus goes to Mbappe, Vinny, and Bellingham and never him. Mate, score a goal. Have a performance, man. What is going on? Arda Güler's on the bench because they believe in you, man. You've got, Endrick on the bench because they believe in you. They've got Brahim Diaz on the bench because they believe in you. Mate, for you to come out and absolutely get mad that you don't get enough appreciation is absurd. Because if one of these guys had as the lack of goals and assists that you have had this year, mate, they would be decapitated by the Madrid fans. And so far, you're flying under the radar. Appreciate that there's no focus on you, man. Appreciate that. But, it's said that Rodrygo plans to leave Real Madrid this summer, considering there's teams out there like Liverpool who may be looking to sign him. Arsenal is another club that could sign him. Those are teams that have the ability to put him in his natural position at the left wing position, and Rodrygo might want to explore that. Now, Real Madrid, if they're going to be asking for 100 million, nobody's going to even knock on the door or even give you a call. But if you lower your asking price to, I believe, 70 million plus some add-ons, I believe that would be fair for both parties. Whoever's involved, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, whoever. But it's going to be very important for him to leave, in my opinion, because you've won the trophies, the UCLs, and whatnot at Real Madrid. Now it's time to focus on your individual career. And obviously, he's not going to fit at Real Madrid. Every month, every week, we see Real Madrid linked to a striker. They want to, change the way they play. They want to stop playing, with 3 left wingers up top. Because in hindsight, I believe Mbappe would absolutely play better on the right wing like he did at Monaco. Put Vinny on the left, Bellingham false nine. I believe that's the best way Madrid can line up next year. And if that doesn't work, then you go out and buy a striker because obviously they're gonna want the best of the best. And Erling Haaland just signed a 10-year deal, man. So my man is stuck there like it's death row. But Rodrygo, shameless, man. The performances need to rise, man. All you've done is kind of like hinder your own stock here, your own transfer stock. But apparently, if Xavi asked him specifically to stay, then he is willing to stay. But personally, if I'm Rodrygo, it's time to move on. You've accomplished, as much as you could at Real Madrid. You've won the big trophies. Now it's time to focus on your individual standpoint. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about the situation with Rodrygo? Personally, I think for him to come out and actually get mad that he's not getting any attention is outrageous, because if you were going to get the attention they do, you would be absolutely getting a ton of hate. But anyways, thank you guys for watching.